Good evening, guys, and welcome into the Jet Lounge. This is Vinny C coming into you for a quick preview for this weekend's matchup in Buffalo with the Bills. My co-host Raven's not going to be with us tonight. I obviously know we canceled the show last night. I had a family obligation. She's got her own obligations. I'm also under the weather, so I'm going to do my best here to give us a quick preview of this weekend's game. So this is the second meeting between the Jets and the Bills. As we know, the last time we met was on 9/11. It was the Monday night home opener. We defeated the Bills by a final margin of 22-16 in overtime with the walk-off punt return touchdown by Xavier Gibson. That was the night of the unpleasantness, or as Raven would say, the incident with number 8. Let's not revisit that. But the Jets entered the game with a record of 4-5, so, I mean, they're not completely dead yet. The Bills are respectable 5-5, also shocking 5-5. I thought they'd be much better than this going into this season with, obviously still with Super Bowl aspirations, and just the offense hasn't clicked for Buffalo. I don't know what's going on with Buffalo. Is it a front office issue? Is it a locker room issue? They could be vulnerable right now. They just recently fired Ken Dorsey, their offensive coordinator, on the heels of another disastrous loss. Which kind of shocks me because, if you look at ESPN Power Rankings, offensively, they still got the 7th best offense in the league compared to our atrocious offense, which I would argue is still the worst in the league. Statistically, we're ranked 29th. The only thing that's been keeping us in balance is our defense, which is ranked 6th. Buffalo's middle in the pack at 17. So, again, a lot of playing factors here going into this ball game. The Jets absolutely need to win this game. The AFC, the way it is, it's completely wide open. It's like things like this that make me wonder if Aaron didn't get hurt, if he didn't go down in that first game, where would we be? We'd be in first place. Where would we be ranked in the conference overall? I don't know. There's so many what ifs, and also Aaron keeps, tooting his own horn that he's coming back. But regardless of what Aaron says, I don't think he's realistically coming back if the Jets are not in it. And then there's also, fans and media personalities out there saying, well, he's going to come back and play no matter what, even if they're not in it, just to prove a point. I was like, well, look what I did. For me, for Aaron to do that would almost come off very narcissistic and make the whole season about him. At the end of the day, it should be about wins. It should be about the team. But, I hope for him for it to be a very speedy recovery. Even if we were in the thick of things, I don't want to jeopardize his 2024 season for what? To be one and done in the wild card? Our Super Bowl hopes died on 9/11 when he went down. That's the reality of the thing. So you got to put your things into perspective here and show that you've put a program into place to make a playoff run. The hope going into this season was make a playoff run this year, end this horrible drought, and then next year is when you really go for it and try to bring home a championship. So again, going into this game, there's a lot of storylines. Saleh has made it clear in his pressers that he's sticking with Zach Wilson as his quarterback. Go figure that. And he's not taking the play calling duties away from Nate Hackett. Everybody knows where the issue is with this team. The offense. And before you know it, it's going to be the coach. And I've been an apologist for this coach week in and week out, year in and year out. But again, he's never placed higher in the division than 4th. That probably will come to an end this year with, the disaster that's going on in New England. That makes me happy. But again, if they miss the playoffs again, it just, a lot of things have to be considered. If Aaron was playing and they were struggling, I'd say the coach has got to go. But again, me personally, what I think happened here is I think the entire staff is getting a pass. I think that they know that they're safe, that the Aaron Rodgers injury is saving all their asses at the end of the day. But I wouldn't extend Saleh unless they clinch a playoff berth with a backup quarterback. Then it is what it is. At that point, I think Coach Saleh is winning the Coach of the Year. Do I think that's happening? I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm not ready to claim that. So pump the brakes a little bit. So I do have issues with them not addressing the offensive coordinator, not addressing the quarterback situation. I don't know why Trevor Siemian is on this roster, or should I say on the practice team. They won't even activate him. Why'd you bring Siemian here to begin with? It makes no freaking sense. Excuse me. I told you I was under the weather. I'm really trying here. The shock of this past week was out of nowhere, out of the blue. The players had a players-only meeting. First thing the team does after they find out about this players-only meeting is Michael Carter gets hurt. Now, I had my issues with Michael Carter. I never thought he was a sensational player. Yes, he had a very nice rookie season when he was averaging about 4.6 a carry, but the last couple of years he's kind of trailed off. Too many fumbles, too many drop passes. He doesn't get on the field. He doesn't contribute on special teams. I by no means am I gonna miss Michael Carter. He was also tweeting out when the rumblings when the Jets were interested in bringing in a Dalvin Cook about how we were all set in the running back room. I mean, that just goes to show how thin your skin is. I mean, seriously, dude, you're really going to bitch and moan? You're lucky to even been on this roster. So, you know what? Good luck to Michael Carter. Have fun in the desert. I hope you find playtime with the Cardinals. I'm not going to miss Michael Carter. I just don't know how this benefits the team, having him off the team completely, because I would have just demoted him to the practice team and elevated Izzy Abanikanda, who's going to start getting more carries, and rightfully so, because he's got fresh legs, and we need to see what we could do to spark this offense. But to cut Carter completely and not just stash him away on the practice team, something ain't right there. Something ain't right there. And then going back to that players-only meeting, what it tells me is if you're having a players-only meeting, what does that tell me? Me, personally, and I'm just a fan, I know, what do I know? But it just goes to show that we don't respect our coach. If you don't want our coaches in this meeting, there's no leadership involved, especially if it's the guys on the offense, because, I mean, who's the voice in the room for the offense? Garrett Wilson, who probably called this meeting, and that just shows a lack of leadership because he's a second-year player. Aaron was supposed to be that guy. How about Laken Tomlinson be that guy? How about, hell, even Randall Cobb? But he can't even get on the field. So it's very disturbing and concerning that this players-only meeting even happened. For them to have a players-only meeting, they better show something to me on Sunday. Because if they go out there and have a third consecutive game where you fail to score a touchdown, that is a complete indictment on the locker room. Completely. And I don't know how badly it'll continue to spiral after that. So, looking at Buffalo's side of things, they're in disarray as well. Their offense especially is a complete mess. Buffalo, as I mentioned to you at the start of the video, they recently fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, introduced Joe Brady. We remember him from his days in Carolina when things started to go well before they spiraled, and then he also got shown the door. He actually had some better years when he was on the LSU coaching staff. But before all that bullshit happened, there was, rumblings of maybe him becoming a head coaching candidate himself. So again, it's not like he's a complete scrub. He's called plays before. He's never called the play for the Bills until this weekend. So who's to say how that shakes out? Jets, defensively, take advantage of the situation. So what else do we have here? How could I forget? Josh Allen himself. He's had his struggles. 11 interceptions out of the year, which is completely out of character for Josh Allen. And you know what? I can't say that I'm not happy about it. I hate the Bills. I don't want to see them succeed, especially against us. So hopefully the Jets can make his life miserable because historically speaking, Josh Allen has had his worst games playing against the New York Jets defense. So hopefully that trend continues on Sunday. More trouble in paradise for the Bills. Even Stefon Diggs' brother is tweeting out that Diggs, meaning Stefon, needs to find a way to get out of there. Now, this started happening last year, even in the year before, when the Bills choked away in the playoffs and you saw Stefon just blasting Josh Allen on the sideline, blasting other players, blasting coaches. This might be his last year in Buffalo. It really could be. I'd welcome him here at the Jets, but that'll never happen. I don't see Buffalo trading within the division. So, I mean, they're in turmoil themselves. It's two teams that are in complete disarray and a mess. Excuse me. Almost through. So again, the Jets are a 7-point underdog going into Orchard Park this Sunday. The over-under on the game is 40 points, which shocks me, knowing how putrid the Jets' offense has been, completely stalling out. There was a rumor on Twitter or X today about, the possibility about the Jets bringing in a Robbie Anderson. Listen, this guy was a complete knucklehead when he was here. He had trouble with the law on multiple occasions while he was on our roster. I want no part of this guy. We got our own issues in the locker room. Do we need a guy with a fastball? A solid one said, yeah, we do. Do we need a deep threat? Yeah, we do. We don't need Robbie Anderson, Chosen Anderson, whatever the fuck his name is. Honestly, take your shit and go back to Miami or Carolina or wherever stay the hell away from New York City. I don't want you here. I can't say I speak on behalf of the entire fan base, but a lot of us don't want you here. So for those of you tweeting out that you want this guy here, it just makes us look so desperate and just pathetic. So honestly, I mean, there's so much more better talent that you could bring in. Hell, give Brownlee an opportunity at a hell of a preseason. Why are we talking up Robbie Anderson over Brownlee? I mean, that's not right at all, guys. Absolutely not. So as far as who was I like going into this game, and also I forgot to mention Matt Milano is out for the year, so that should help us. But don't forget, Von Miller is going to be waiting. And you know he's licking his chops looking at Zach Wilson under center. So again, who do I like? I can't even remember the last time the Jets swept the Bills. It's been a while. This team hasn't scored a touchdown in 3 weeks. It's not good. The offense, I mean, I said last week going into the Vegas game that, you know, the Raiders were like a sneaky good money line bet that I couldn't believe, you know, the line was as low as it was. But again, I think it's going to be a very tall order to ask this team to go into Orchard Park in a very, very hostile environment and be able to sweep the Bills. You know they're going to be coming in pissed off from the way that things rolled and ended on week 1 on 9/11 when they came to MetLife. So again, I think they finally score a touchdown. It's probably going to be late. Unless Saleh decides to shake things up. I mean, they say that they're going to shake more things up about this roster. And it wasn't just going to be Michael Carter. We haven't heard a peep. Nothing. So again, final prediction. I got to go with Buffalo on this one, unfortunately. I'm going Bills 23-10. I don't even think it's a ball game, unfortunately. And I wouldn't want to see Aaron Rodgers this year. The way this line is, I mean, I think you'd have to have the Jets front office arrested for first-degree murder if you trot Aaron Rodgers behind this line, because it stinks. I mean, hey, Evan Roberts once said it on WFAN, I would love to be wrong and happy than right and miserable. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning into The Lounge. See you next time.